Hey booktube, my name is Kat and welcome to my booktube channel, or welcome back to my booktube channel. Today is one of the most exciting videos I have made to date, and that is my official review of It Starts With Us, the sequel to It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Honestly, I think this book has been one of the most anticipated books of 2022 for a lot of people, myself included. I started out the year in January reading It Ends With Us, and I thought it was fantastic. It was one of the books that really got me into reading again. I know there was a lot of criticism for it as well, but I was so excited to read It Starts With Us. Because it is October 19th when I am filming this, and the book came out on October 18th, so I know a lot of you haven't had the chance to pick it up or read it yet, or are still working on it. I'm going to make this review as spoiler-free as possible. However, if I do slip up and in editing I realize that there's some sort of spoiler, I will put a little indicator up here so you can go ahead and skip past that part because I don't want to ruin the book for anybody. So to start out, It Starts With Us picks up exactly where It Ends With Us left off, which is right after Lily runs into Atlas with Emerson. Truthfully, I didn't do that much research into the plot of this book, and I kind of thought it was a prequel, and I thought we were going to be going back and looking at the beginning of Atlas and Lily, but it actually is like a true sequel, and it follows exactly the timeline of It Ends With Us. So I thought that was really nice, especially because in It Ends With Us we already got a lot of the story. So I feel like it could have been kind of redundant if it was just a retelling of Lily and Atlas when they were teenagers. The main point that I want to make in this video and really want to discuss is how Colleen Hoover handles the topic of domestic violence and how she discusses what happened in It Ends With Us. One of the criticisms I've seen for It Ends With Us, and honestly Colleen Hoover in general, there are a few instances in some of her books where it seems like she is kind of glamorizing or romanticizing domestic violence, or men just treating women really shitty. In It Ends With Us, obviously the story is about domestic violence and abuse, and kind of going through the timeline with Lily about what happens, how she handles it, and a big part of that book is really falling into the same beliefs and thoughts that Lily had, in a way of like, well, maybe Ryle's a good guy and he's just messing up, or maybe he didn't mean to. Or she discusses, and It Starts With Us as well, feelings of like, what did I do to make him do that to me? Like, is it my fault? I must have said something, done something, acted a certain way that caused him to react in that way and hurt me. And overall, in It Starts With Us, I think Colleen Hoover did a brilliant job of addressing those concerns and making a very truthful and honest, believable telling of the domestic violence cycle and those feelings that come up. So I have quite a few highlights from the book that I'd like to point out that I think demonstrate really well Colleen Hoover's ability to discuss the topic while also making sure the reader knows that what happened is not okay, and it's not romantic, and it's not pretty or fun or anything to be taken lightly. So pretty early in the book, we are reading a letter that Lily has written, and it says, "I can't lie and say I don't miss him, because I do. I miss what we sometimes were. He still possesses all the good qualities I fell in love with, and now that I'm no longer in a relationship with him, it's rare I see the negative side that ultimately ended our marriage." So Lily discusses how she misses those good times, and it's almost harder now that she's not a part of the marriage because she doesn't see those negative sides and she only sees the good sides, and it's easy for her to almost forget what he did and how he made her feel. Similarly to those feelings, she says, "Ryle can be angry, but that doesn't mean I deserve everything that accompanies his anger." I think that's really important too, that Colleen Hoover makes sure to show Lily's growth and character development and how she takes this journey and the emotional journey she takes with herself in learning to stop blaming herself and learning to be realistic about what happened. And also a lot of just learning to be loved again and learning how to receive love and realizing how she should be treated in a relationship after seeing the way her mother was treated and after experiencing domestic abuse firsthand herself. Another huge portion of this book that I'm so glad was included was Lily's relationship with Alyssa, Marshall, Lucy, and all those other characters from It Ends With Us. They carry over into It Starts With Us, and they play a huge role in her journey to kind of figuring things out with Ryle now that they have a kid together and they're divorced. Marshall and Alyssa are amazing advocates, and I'm glad that Colleen Hoover included them and showed what good advocates look like and people who are supportive without overstepping. One of the touchy topics in here is the relationship with Ryle and his sister Alyssa, and how she feels about him after knowing everything that has transpired between him and Lily. It is made clear that Alyssa is his sister and Alyssa loves him as a sibling. Alyssa stands up for Lily, and we see the relationship between Alyssa and Lily, and Alyssa is really there for her without overstepping, and it seems realistic. Because unfortunately, not everybody just drops their family members when they do something horrible. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, depending on the circumstances. So it is interesting to see Alyssa's relationship with Ryle and how she handles things between Ryle and Lily moving forward. Another quote that really encompasses that is, "When I think about Ryle hitting you, I get absurdly angry because I love him, I do. He's been my best friend since we were kids, but I also hate him for not being better. Nothing you've done and nothing you could do would excuse any man's hands on you out of anger. Remember that, Lily. You made the right choice by leaving that situation. You should never feel guilty for that. Pride is the only thing you should feel." And that is super important because we are once again reminded that Lily never deserved this. Nobody in an abusive situation deserves that. And there's not a single thing that you could possibly do to make a significant other justifiably put their hands on you. Again, we get some contrast between a healthy relationship and a toxic relationship, where Lily says, "I realize the significance of this moment. I'm alone with an angry man in my apartment, but I'm not in fear for my life because he isn't angry at me. He's angry at the person who hurt me. It's a protective anger, and there's a world of difference between my reactions to Ryle's anger versus my reaction to Atlas's anger." Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. I read it all in one day. I think Colleen Hoover did an excellent job at addressing some of the concerns that were brought up in It Ends With Us and some of her previous novels, while still maintaining integrity to the story and still following the storyline very naturally. The narrative makes sense. I'm not sure of Colleen Hoover's background or story, but you can definitely tell that she has spoken to people who have experienced similar situations to what Lily goes through. And it feels authentic and real. It doesn't feel romanticized or fake. So if you enjoy Colleen Hoover books, especially if you enjoyed It Ends With Us, I would highly recommend It Starts With Us. It's a much happier story, and it's kind of a story of like victory in a way. It leaves you feeling happy at the end. And I just overall thought it was a really great book. I'm so happy that Colleen Hoover decided to put this book out, because I know, and she says in the acknowledgements as well, she was not planning on putting out a sequel. She had absolutely zero intentions of that. But the community on TikTok and Book Talk and BookTube encouraged her to do so, and I think everybody's really happy that this book happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and definitely go pick this up and give it a read if you enjoy Colleen Hoover. I know it's not for everybody, but if you do, highly recommend. 5 stars. And I hope all of y'all have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!